Hi, it's Amy with the Hag Reads. Today I am going to discuss one book, and that is Summit Lake by Charlie Donlea. Um, this is a suspense thriller type of book, I guess. It's told from two perspectives. Um, so, the first perspective is an investigative reporter, Kelsey Castle, and her narration starts shortly after the murder of Becca Eckersley, and that is our other narrator. Hold on, I think I'm going to sneeze. Okay, sorry about that. When I sneeze very violently. It's super loud, and I can't hold it in because it hurts. I'm not one of the, and that's the end of your sneeze. I could hurt myself or other people with my sneeze. So the second narrator is the murder victim, Becca Eckersley. And the way they had this work was, well, first let me tell you, she's a first-year law student. She's in graduate school and the daughter of a powerful attorney. Now, her narration runs parallel to Kelsey's, but hers starts 14 months prior to the murder. But the way it works is, and I thought this was pretty clever, is that as Kelsey starts investigating, the story as she's investigating is kind of the point as she starts the investigation, looking back into her history and everything and getting the basics of the case, they kind of pace each other from this 14-month period forward. And so you might learn a little bit before it's revealed in Kelsey's timeline, or you might have Kelsey reveal something a little bit before Becca does in her timeline. And I thought that was pretty clever, and it was interesting, and it helped hold interest so that you weren't just looking at it from a going backwards perspective. So Kelsey is going backwards, and Becca is going forwards in her storyline. It's very, I just liked the way it was done. So as the book takes off, Becca's been murdered, and the investigation has stalled at the local level because, at the behest of her powerful attorney father, the investigation has been taken away from the local police department by the state police, and then it appears that they're not really trying to solve the murder. I think they're just trying to do damage control, so that nothing bad comes out about the daughter. And that doesn't really serve anybody's best interest, I think. It's a powerful family, and I'm sure they don't want to be embarrassed, but the way that it's good, the investigation is good, the official investigation is, hold on one second, I'm sorry. The way the official investigation is going is that the murder would never be solved. They're pushing a particular angle, and I don't get the sense that anybody cares in the family or in the state police if the murder is actually caught. All they want to do is protect the family's reputation. And I can't imagine being a parent whose daughter was brutally murdered and not caring at all if the person who did it was ever brought to justice. Because we're not talking about, oh, she was stabbed in an alley or she died in a car crash. This was a brutal, brutal assault. So I have trouble, that's the first thing I had trouble with in the book. Other characters that play in the book are, Becca's three friends. When she was an undergraduate, she had these three friends. It was another girl and two guys, and they were not coupled up. And they made kind of a big to-do about, we never ruined our friendship with relationship and everything, but two of the people had a secret. And then later on, Becca has another secret, and it's my feeling that one of the major themes of this book is that keeping secrets is not only healthy for you, but it can lead down dark paths. And having read the book, I can't honestly say that there was any real reason that these secrets were kept, other than, Becca and the person she's keeping the secret with are claiming that they're trying not to hurt anybody's feelings and they don't think other people will understand. But really, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to keep themselves from having to be uncomfortable by admitting something way after the fact that would have been fine to say, like, in the moment when it happened. And so it becomes something much larger with huge repercussions and consequences. This little tiny thing becomes something, mushroom cloud sized, nuclear annihilation. So the secrets to me feel like cowardice on the part of two of the characters in being unwilling to take the flak for something they've done, that if they'd done in the moment would have probably had very minor consequences. And even if they'd done it a little bit earlier than the secrets came out, I still think it would have been salvageable. But of course, it's a novel, so they didn't, and there were these big, huge consequences. And then with the character Becca, this is one of the things I see reasonably often in novels. A female character who is beautiful and intelligent and so on, that she schemes may not be the right, that her personality is such that she kind of takes advantage of her male friendships and has a lot of male friendships. And whether this type of character is doing it deliberate, because there's two ways it usually plays out. It's very deliberate and calculated, or the girl is just kind of naive and accepts things on face value, that these men are helping her, are interested in being her friend, and so on. And that, oh, we're just friends. That kind of naivete, that there's no other motive that a man might have for doing things with and for you. And with this character, I'm not entirely sure if it's the deliberate kind or the naive kind, but she's from a wealthy, prosperous family, and I have to believe she's aware, at least a little bit, of her own manipulation. And so they, it's that kind of thing where they use their friendships with men to help them. Whether it's with a teacher to help you get a better grade, not being blatantly flirtatious, but striking up a friendship that seems on the surface to hint at something more, but that she never acts on because she doesn't ever have any intention of acting on it, and perhaps is unaware that he thinks that, that the person thinks that she has every intention of acting on it if the circumstances are right. Or where, friends with classmates and they help you study and all this stuff, and you spend hundreds of hours together, and the guy might think there's going to be a relationship on the other end of that, or that there's going to be some reciprocal, flirtatious, sexual activity as a result, and the girl doesn't have any intention on following through with that. So, not entirely sure that it's intentional. I think a little bit of it is, but I think she's just kind of oblivious, and that's just how she is that she uses her friendships to benefit her, but she's not fully aware of how people are really perceiving what she's doing, especially men. I'm looking over my notes here real quick. And then the character Kelsey, who's the investigative reporter who's narrating the other part of the story, she has her own issue that she's dealing with, and her bosses kind of sent her out on this story as a way to deal with her issues. They didn't state it on the cover and it's not early enough in the story, like it's in the second or third chapter where they reveal what her issue is. So I don't want to say anything here, but her publisher kind of sends her on this assignment to help her work through this issue. Throughout the story, there's this, as it goes forward with Kelsey's investigation and with Becca's, own story, there is an increasing sense of urgency, but also specifically with Kelsey, that if she doesn't hurry up and solve this, she's going to get arrested or be curtailed in some way by the family because they don't want any part of the truth to come out. And I don't even think they really know the truth. It's just that they suspect that there's something that's going to sully the reputation of the family. And the father is a powerful attorney and he wants to become a judge. And so he's going to start lobbying for that, or, whatever is the political process involved in that. And thinks that if something negative comes out about his daughter and her death, that it will be the end of his career ambitions. And that's kind of a shitty way to treat your daughter's brutal assault and murder. So there's this real sense of urgency as it goes, as you're reaching the conclusion and she's getting closer and closer to solving it. And so I enjoyed that as well, because it kind of drove you forward when you might be getting turned off by some of these negative things. Other characters in the book, I'm not going to do any names. I'm just going to be a quick list. There are the 3 friends of Becca's, the 2 guys and the girl. There's a doctor that helps her out. There's a sheriff that helps her out. And then there's kind of the coffee shop crew. So you've got the owner of the coffee shop, who is largely absent, and she was friends with Becca and Becca's family. And after the murder occurs, she kind of removes herself from the coffee shop and passes the torch along in running the coffee shop to a younger girl, and that's who Kelsey runs into and talks to. And I really liked her character. And then the other part of that coffee shop crew is the mother of the owner, who lives in town. And they have some interactions with her, and I really liked her character too. But largely the theme here is secrets and how they can really haunt you. And if once you get to the end of the story, you're like, why did she even keep that story? Why would you even do that? Despite the issues that I felt like with the book, the things that frustrated me, I could not put this book down. Now, I will say that both the doctor and the sheriff did things with regards to Kelsey that I feel like no professional, the sheriff in this story has been in his job for 40 years. The doctor probably equally as long. They did things to help her out that I don't think a real professional in law enforcement or a medical field would ever do. And I think that was kind of a cop-out on the part of the author, rather than finding another way for her to gain access to the information. It was kind of a lazy way for her to get it, and I think that it compromised the integrity of the story somewhat, because it took me a little bit out of the novel for a while, and made it hard for me to suspend my disbelief, because I just can't imagine that either of these professionals would do what they did, given the length of their service, and even considering the reasons that they gave. I just totally not a believable thing for me. But at the end of the day, or at the end of the book, I really, really, really liked this story. And this is his first novel. This is his debut novel. I read his second novel. Gosh, if I don't remember what it's called. Hold on. The Girl Who Was Taken, which I read a little while back. And I really liked that one too. So I went on Goodreads to see what else he had written. And that happened to be only his second book. So I picked up the first one from the library. And I really enjoyed both. I like his writing style. Some of the characterization things I don't like. But the reality is I sat there and I devoured this book from like 4 in the afternoon until about 3 in the morning. And the only things I stopped for were to take a shower, go to the bathroom, and eat some food. So I got really sucked into this. And if that's not a good review for a book, I don't know what is. So, what did I wind up giving this? I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads, and I would probably buy this book if I came across it. And his other one, I enjoyed them well enough, and I would recommend them to others. This one, I think I might have said at the beginning, and I'm not sure. It's classified on Goodreads as a mystery, a suspense, and a thriller, and as crime. And it is all of those. It's has some police procedure. It's an investigative journalist. You have the doctor for a medical perspective. And it is a mystery. You're trying to solve who murdered this girl and why. So, the end. But I give it 2 thumbs up. I would definitely recommend it. If you like this type of book, it's in a gorgeous setting. The way they describe Summit Lake, it's a gorgeous area, but it is kind of a hoity-toity rich people place. But that is all I have for today, just the one book. Look at that, under 20 minutes. Yay! I will be back tomorrow. Happy whatever time of day it is for you. I hope you have had a wonderful day today if you watched to the end. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye!